Utah Hockey Club welcomed in the new year with a victory over the Calgary Flames. The team scored 3 goals in the final period to snag the win. Here is the call of the go-ahead goal from SEG Media.
Bukestad drops it. Krause, he scores! Lawson Krause has got a pair, and it's the go-ahead goal to make it 4-3.
The win helped the team break a 5-game losing streak. The hockey club visits the Dallas Stars tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he thinks he will win re-election as Speaker of the House on the first ballot, but there's no room for error.
There are 17 or so undecided Republicans at this hour, and they haven't come out and said if they've made up their mind, despite many of them meeting with Johnson over the course of the holidays and the new year and then up until yesterday. House Speaker Mike Johnson saying that he's confident that he's done enough, that these conversations are going well, that he believes he can win on the first ballot. But the reality is, according to House leadership sources that I've talked to, they are preparing for what could be a bruising process here.
That's ABC's Jay O'Brien. Your money at this moment, let's see where we are this morning. The Dow is up 245 now. That's 0.6%. We're at 42,638. Coming up, it's going to be warm today, but then a storm's moving in. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
You might not consider yourself a tech expert, but that doesn't mean you can't protect yourself from online scammers with a little help from McAfee Total Protection. Whether it's a fake missed delivery text or an urgent bank alert, these scams can look incredibly convincing. That's where McAfee Total Protection steps in. So go ahead, manage your finances, and shop online. McAfee will help keep your device's privacy and identity safer. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 your first year. That's McAfee.com/online protection. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style Rewards Checking. And here's Heather Kelly.
We're looking good on all the major roadways across the Wasatch Front, no problems. On I-15, the east or west side belt route 201 freeway. But we still have a bit of delay on Redwood Road northbound, approaching 126 south. Northbound is still closed from an earlier chase that ended up in a crash. And then you've got delays trying to get into Big and Little Cottonwood Canyon on Wasatch Boulevard. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're expecting a record high of 55 degrees today before a storm hits tomorrow that'll bring rain and snow. We might even get an inch or two in the valleys. Right now it's 43 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Well, House Speaker Mike Johnson has the support of President-elect Donald Trump, but does he have the support of his fellow Republicans in the House of Representatives? There is some drama unfolding once again in D.C., and we're here for the coverage.
Yeah, and you can have all the Donald Trump support that you want, but Donald Trump has zero say in this. He has influence, but he doesn't have a vote. So if Republicans want Mike Johnson out, he's out. It's 9:05. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
Well, the minimum wage went up in 21 states across America. According to the Economic Policy Institute, more than 9 million workers in the U.S. will collectively see their pay go up by $5.7 billion. That's not just per paycheck, that's all of their paychecks. Well, so in California, it goes up from $16 an hour last year to $16.50 this year. Nebraska, was $12, Dave. Now it's $13.50 an hour. And in Utah, the minimum wage was $7.25 an hour in 2024, 2023, and in 2025, it'll still be $7.25 an hour.
Yeah, I kind of chuckle when I see these numbers. Like, the minimum wage hasn't changed for years and decades, and it's unbelievable. No one's making $7.25. No one's making $7.25, and when you look at these minimum wages that are going to $16, $17 an hour, that is why you're spending $23 on some burgers and fries.
Countdown to...
At 9:35, we're going to go in depth on the price of Disney trips. Pushing families into debt? Come on, Mickey Mouse. Come on, Goofy. News Nation reporting Disney World prices have jumped 3,500%. Yes, I said that right. 3,500% since its opening in 1971. I was 4 years old. So 45% of American families end up in debt over their Disney vacations, Dave. It does start feeling like a small world knowing that we're all using credit cards to pay for our trips to Disney.
Yeah, it's a small world, but it's a big bill. It is a huge bill when you go to Disneyland. Now, you're going to be shocked to see how many parents don't think that it's worth it. They think, you know what? Maybe we made a mistake. But it doesn't matter what the parents think, whether or not Disneyland was worth it, because 100% of kids think it's worth it to spend their parents' money on Disneyland.
Launch countdown 1.
Well, the last time we had House Speaker drama in D.C., when that vote came down with Kevin McCarthy, took him 15 votes, 15 tries to win the speakership, and then wasn't he ousted? Like a little while later. Well, yeah. House Speaker Mike Johnson, there's some drama unfolding today in D.C. The vote's happening starting this morning. The question is, will Republicans, his own party, vote to retain or possibly replace the House Speaker? Does he have the votes? Well, he doesn't have Representative Thomas Massey's out of Kentucky's vote. Listen to how adamant he is that he will not be voting for Johnson.
You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson.
So that's a hard no. It's a hard no from the representative from Kentucky. Can you imagine if your engagement went the way of the Speaker House vote? Hey, will you marry me? No? Okay, let me try it again. Will you marry me? No? Okay, let me try it again. For 3 weeks, that's how long it took Mike Johnson to get voted. Everyone was like, we don't want to marry him. We don't want to marry them. We don't want to marry anybody. It took 3 weeks. How is this going to set back the Trump agenda? Let's talk about it.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top national story.
So there might be a lot of reasons along the way that House Speaker Mike Johnson has been losing some support and then occasionally regaining support from his fellow Republicans. But the latest issue that has cropped up for him is the spending bill that Congress voted on most recently in December to keep the government open.
In January, we will make a sea change in Washington. President Trump will return to D.C. and to the White House, and we will have Republican control of the Senate and the House. Things are going to be very different around here. This was a necessary step to bridge the gap, to put us into that moment where we can put our fingerprints on the final decisions on spending for 2025.
Speaker Johnson had to strike a compromise back in D.C., and that meant bringing both parties together. Not everybody is happy about that. We heard what Representative Thomas Massey said.
You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson.
But Dave, your opinion is that they've got to get a line behind Speaker Johnson, given the fact that Donald Trump is going to take over the White House in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, number one, on January 6th, the House has to certify the election results of 2024. So if you don't have a speaker, you can't certify the election. So that's going to be delayed. The first 100 days of the Trump administration, of any administration, are the most important days of the entire presidency. Those first 100 days. Do you really want it to be marred or distracted by some palace intrigue and infighting of whether or not you want Mike Johnson? And if you don't want Mike Johnson, Representative Massey, if you'd rather have your fingers cut off, as you say, then who do you want instead? Right? Everybody loves the hypothetical candidate out there that's going to bring everybody and be tough. Okay, who is that person? Because before Mike Johnson was elected, let's go back. You ousted Kevin McCarthy, and then for the next 3 weeks, you could not figure out, do you want Steve Scalise? No. Do you want Jim Jordan? No. Do you want Tom Emmer? No. You had 8 other candidates for House Speaker, and then you got to Mike Johnson. So, if you're so adamant about not having Mike Johnson, who are you going to replace him with? Oh, nothing? No other name out there?
So let's go back to your first point. Certification has to happen in the next couple of days, or generally happens within the next couple of days of the vote, of the election.
Yeah.
You're worried if that doesn't happen.
Well, it just delays, right? You have to certify the vote. It's January 6th. This was the drama of January 6th,
in 2021.
In 2021, right? This is the certification of the vote. So it has to get done first. You have to certify the vote. You have to elect. But you can't do any of that until you establish your speakership, your House leadership, who's going to bring everything to the floor. So you have to have that set first, and then everything else can fall into place.
Then the second thing you're concerned about is when Trump takes over the White House in just the next couple of days, really. Just got a few weeks until he gets back into the Oval Office. And he has stated that he's got a lot of work to do, and he's going to start it on day one. Are you worried that if they don't have a speaker in place, or if they're fumbling around trying to get up to speed with a new speaker, that his agenda will somehow be delayed?
Yeah, it's exactly what happens, because if there is no speaker and they are going through endless rounds of voting and trying to figure out, well, then you can't address immigration. You can't address tax cuts. You can't address any of the...
Without executive order.
Exactly. Okay. But the whole point is the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House. A lot of this should just be rubber stamped. Like, okay, let's move forward. We have both houses of Congress. Let's move the agenda forward. But if there is this infighting amongst Republicans, then that is going to slow down the entire process. And we know the first 100 days of a presidency is the most important in setting your agenda.
And let's go back to when House Speaker Kevin McCarthy could not get himself elected, not at least initially. I think it took 15 votes.
4 days. It took him 4 days and 15 votes, and he's begging for votes. And McCarthy was. He's like, please. Cutting deals, getting in fights with Matt Gaetz on the floor. I mean, all of this is happening, behind the scenes, which means when you're dealing with palace intrigue, when you're dealing with all behind the scenes stuff that doesn't actually move the needle, then you're not getting anything done for the people.
Straight ahead, let's go live to Washington, D.C., where our very own KSL Inside Sources host, Rusty Cannon, is there. He is in D.C., and let's ask him, does he think the Democrats will actually cast their votes to save Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson? Next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
It's a new year. How about a new you? Many of us during the start of the new year want to lose some weight. We've all gone through this on some level. Well, with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, you can lose up to a pound of fat a day. I lost 57 pounds in 60 days with Salt Lake City Fat Loss. And although it wasn't easy, I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, it was the easiest thing I've ever done. No, it's tough to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I've got to change some eating habits. I've got to make some major changes. But what kept me motivated was getting on the scale every single day and seeing a pound, sometimes even 2 pounds a day fall off. And that kept me motivated. Again, I lost 57 pounds in 60 days. I did it without injections. I did it without surgery. So if you're interested, go ahead and reach out to Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Go to their website, slcfatloss.com. It's the new year. It's a new you, slcfatloss.com.
A new presidential cabinet is coming together, and Utah's legislative session is just weeks away. Stories are breaking in Utah and in the nation's capital. Keep up with Tim and Amanda each morning between 5 and 9. Then Dave and Dujanovic at 9 and Inside Sources at 1. And Jeff Kaplan on the drive home from 3 to 7. Frequent breaking updates in the car on KSL News Radio.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy. It got so bad, I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't concentrate. I absolutely refused to let any of my friends come to our house for any reason. I would have been humiliated if anyone found out how much my dad drank and how loud my mom screamed at him. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful. The only thing that happened is my mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. Her relationship with my dad really changed. I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings, or to Alateen. I wanted to see if I could have a better relationship with my dad. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, police say an arson suspect is dead after a high-speed chase through multiple counties ended in a police shootout. Second, Congress is back in session, and they are expected to vote on House Speaker today. Third, BYU men's basketball is playing its first road game in over a month when they visit number 14 ranked Houston tomorrow. You can listen to pregame here on KSL News Radio starting at 11 o'clock. Right now, it's 43 degrees downtown. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top national story.
Looking forward to talking to Inside Source's Rusty Cannon in just a moment about his take on a little bit of drama that seems to be unfolding once again back in D.C. when it comes to the House Speaker. Not quite sure he has the votes to maintain the speakership. The votes are, it's going to happen this morning, at least the first round. Representative Thomas Massey, Republican out of Kentucky, has made it very clear.
They say there's up to 5 or 6 who may be voting no. You can count on me to be a no. You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson.
Okay, so that's exactly how many people that Mike Johnson can lose. You can lose 1 Republican vote. Now, the math out there, you need 218 votes, and there's only 219 Republicans right now sitting in Congress. Because remember, Matt Gaetz resigned after the AG debacle. So Republicans, although they have 220, they were supposed to have 220, they only have 219 right now, Republicans. So they need every single one. They could lose 1. So if Mike or Thomas Massey from Kentucky is a hard no, if there's a second one, then Mike Johnson is out. Or he would need Democrats to swoop in and rescue him and say, no, we like him as Speaker, keep him.
Which made me wonder, how would Marjorie Taylor Greene vote? Because previously she said, I want to get rid of him.
This is basically a warning, and it's time for us to go through the process, take our time, and find a new Speaker of the House that will stand with Republicans and our Republican majority instead of standing with the Democrats.
Now, that was earlier this year, and as we know, things change rapidly in D.C. on the Beltway.
I cannot wait to get started. I'll be voting for Mike Johnson. I will be looking ahead in complete hopefulness and working as hard as possible.
So that's where she stands now. Rusty Cannon, Inside Sources host. Good morning. You're in D.C.
Good morning. Yes, I am in Washington, D.C., watching this unfold live and in color.
So what's your gut say? Is this just a warning shot, a shot across the bow for Mike Johnson? Maybe they'll send a message to him? What are your thoughts?
After talking to some members and staff last night and this morning, my personal opinion, I think he'll win probably in the first round. Like you said, he could lose 1 person. It's obvious that's going to be Tom Massey. I just don't. It doesn't sound like others are going to really just tank this whole thing just for either some notoriety or really, there's nothing positive that would come about doing it. And so I think he wins on the first round. Maybe it goes 2 or 3. It's supposed to start at noon Eastern here in about 40 minutes. That's, going to kick off. And then about an hour later, there's many, many hours of receptions and events and there's all kinds of things going on where they need to kind of just stamp this out and get it done. And so I just don't see it becoming as big of a drama as people think. But you never know. It just takes 1 more to decide to do that. But my bet is that he's successful on the first round.
Well, and to your point about receptions, of course, our representatives who were elected this last election cycle would be sworn in. Also, Senator John Curtis being sworn in today. So there are a lot of things going on in D.C. today. I'm curious, what's your take on this, Rusty? Do you think the Democrats will step up to save him at all?
No. I think they're pretty unified in obviously voting for Hakeem Jeffries, but I don't think they would help out at all. I think it'll be very divided as always, and you will likely have 1 Republican say no, the rest vote yes, and move on. The Hill is just crawling with people. You have family, you have friends, everybody's in town. It's a really, really positive day. And so I think there's not a lot of momentum to just pulling this car right into the ditch on the first day. Hopefully it's just a smooth sailing, one round, and we're done.
Mike Johnson actually said, I don't make deals with anyone for votes, so it doesn't sound like he's going to be out there haggling and trying to woo people with a bunch of promises to get their votes and their support. Is there a better option out there, or is there a name that's being floated out there? If not Mike Johnson, then who?
No, that's a good question. I actually asked that question yesterday of some members. Nobody wants this job. That's the funny thing, is it just nobody. There's no one else that either wants to step up or wants to and has the votes. He's literally the only one at this point. And so that's like we did, how long was that, a year or plus ago when we went through this once before. Just there's no other alternative. So why would it make any sense to try to push another alternative? There's just no one interested at this point.
Rusty, I'd love it if you'd expand on Dave's take. He articulated just a few moments ago, right out of the gates here, and that is that Republicans really need to get the ball rolling and quickly. I mean, they've got the House, they've got the Senate, and they have the White House. And what a shame it would be if this vote didn't go through with, the Republican Party unified, because, President-elect Donald Trump has said he's got so much on his agenda for day one. Whether he can accomplish that all on day one or not, I'm sure remains to be seen. But what is the message that it sends the rest of the nation to have a Republican Party in lockstep?
Well, if you see anybody voting against Mike Johnson, you could make a case that they're voting against President Trump's agenda. And obviously nobody, well, not many, want to be that person. And so that's sort of the line that is being used, I think, quite effectively, is, do you support incoming President Trump's agenda? If so, you're voting for the speaker so we can get started. There's really no other way to look at it other than that. And so even his detractors, this morning, are saying that they really think he's going to win. It's just a question of whether it's 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Should hopefully be pretty quick.
Well, Rusty, thank you so much for joining us from D.C. Rusty Cannon, the co-host of Inside Sources. Best of luck, and we'll see what this afternoon holds for us. Thanks a lot, Rusty.
Yeah, and of course, we'll be taking our listeners live to Washington, D.C. as soon as we get word that an actual vote is starting, and it could happen certainly before the end of the show, which is 11 o'clock this morning. And we'll be covering it as well from the newsroom with our team of producers and reporters who are keeping a close eye on the things that are going on back in D.C., along with our Inside Sources host, Rusty Cannon. It looks as though, from what I read in the Deseret News this morning, Dave, is that all representatives out of Utah, Blake Moore, Burgess Owens, Celeste Malloy, and now our new representative, Mike Kennedy, all Republicans, of course, do plan on casting a vote in favor of House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Yeah, that kind of unification has been consistent. We actually heard the support for Kevin McCarthy. Utah supported Kevin McCarthy as well. They found that they've consistently been unified, saying their frustration or expressing their frustration with this little pecking that is happening with the House Speaker, because they keep voting to keep the government open and moving forward and making compromises with Democrats. There are a very select, just a handful of Republicans, maybe 10 to 15 at most, that have really been pushing against this. Utah has not been part of that. These representatives have been very supportive of leadership.
Yeah, in fact, I remember when Representative Celeste Malloy joined our show a couple of months ago in November, talking about how important it is that the work get done in Congress.
What we don't have is huge majorities in either one, so it means we are going to have to stay really disciplined and really focused. If Republicans in either of those chambers start to get creative or crazy, we're not going to be able to get anything done. If you don't get a lot done in the first year, then you get massacred at the midterms.
And the thing that the Trump administration wants to push forward with the help of Congress is immigration reform, tax reform, extending those Trump tax cuts, the debt ceiling in government funding and regular order and energy. I mean, this is what Trump wants to address on day one. And if you have a unified Congress, then you can move things forward at a very rapid pace. So this kind of behind-the-scenes nitpicking can be very damaging to the Trump agenda, I think.
Straight ahead, let's bippity-bop over to Disney World, where Disney Vacations pushing families into debt. How much are families charging on credit cards for a trip to the Magic Kingdom? I bet you parents don't feel like so zippity-doo-dah when they're zippity in debt. That's next.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. Police are investigating after an SUV crashed into the Jordan River. Officers believe the 22-year-old woman behind the wheel may have fallen asleep. She was able to climb out of the passenger side window and avoid injury. Police say the car actually came to a rest on the river bank, preventing it from being fully submerged. Nearly a quarter of Utahns struggle to pay their electricity bills. KSL News Radio's Alessandra Gurr reports.
Nearly 24% of Utahns have a hard time fully paying for their utilities, according to data from the U.S. Census Bureau. An analysis of the data from Lending Tree finds that nearly everyone struggling to fully pay their bills choose to either decrease or shut off their electricity entirely at certain times of the day. The numbers show this isn't only a problem here in Utah, with nearly 50% of Mississippi and Alabama residents cutting back on necessary expenses in order to pay their energy bills.
More information can be found at KSL.com. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Authorities say the highly decorated soldier inside a Tesla Cybertruck packed with fireworks that exploded outside Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas shot himself in the head just before detonation. The explosion caused minor injuries to 7 people, but virtually no damage to the hotel. Clark County Sheriff Kevin McMahill said 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger likely planned a more damaging attack, but the steel-sided vehicle absorbed much of the force from the crudely built explosive. Your money at this moment, the Dow's up 237 right now. That's 0.5%. We're at 42,629. Coming up next, we're going to break some records today for warm temperatures. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Everything's a little better when it's super. Heroes, markets, sized, and of course, checks. A super check gives you an in-depth review of your current insurance coverage with a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent, no matter who your insurance provider is. That's super cool. Talk to a Farm Bureau agent to make sure you're properly covered at fbfs.com/protect. It's your future. Let's protect it. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
An airliner takes off from the Pacific Northwest, carrying 101 passengers and crew. Most aboard Flight 293 are active-duty military and their families, headed to Cold War assignments in Alaska.
Surveillance of the Soviet military buildup.
But somewhere over the ocean, with no distress call, the airliner plunges into the icy water below.
Even if all 4 engines quit, that aircraft would fly.
There were no survivors and no bodies were ever recovered. For decades, loved ones were left to wonder
what happened to Flight 293 and why hasn't there been any follow-up?
The government turned its back. Passengers and crew of Flight 293 were forgotten by everyone, except their families.
Unless we pursue it, we will never be issued a true explanation.
Unsolved Histories: What Happened to Flight 293 is available now. Follow us at unsolvedhistoriespod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style Rewards Checking. And here's Heather Kelly.
We still have some pretty dense fog in Provo Canyon. Most of this is around Deer Creek Reservoir, affecting the roadway in both directions. The fog is laying down some ice crystals, which could make the road a bit slick. So far, we haven't heard of any accidents there, but you want to use some caution. And then northbound Redwood Road remains closed at 126 South in Riverton from an earlier chase, which resulted in a crash. Hopefully, they'll get that northbound side reopened soon. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're expecting a record high of 55 degrees today before a storm moves in tomorrow, bringing rain and snow. Tomorrow's high will be 42 degrees. Right now, it's 45 downtown. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
It's going to feel like such a small world knowing that we're all in debt together over our trips to Disney World. We're going to focus on Disney World. News Nation reporting that the cost of a ticket to Disney World since 1971, when I was a cute 4-year-old, has gone from $3.50 for entry to $129 for entry, which is a 3,500% increase, Dave.
Now, before you folks start saying inflation, I love my inflation calculator. So I will always look up the inflation calculator. So back in 1971, Debbie, your $3.50, if we're talking today's dollars, is a $27 ticket.
Oh.
So that's if we just adjusted for inflation, it'd be $27.
Time out, back up. You're like Einstein over there. What are you doing research? Like inflation calculator? Say that again. I didn't even think to do that.
I love my inflation calculator.
It's amazing.
Yeah, because, a dollar back in 1971 is not the same when your grandparents bought their home for $35,000. You got to bring inflation into it. So that $3.50 ticket back in 1971, it's basically a $28 ticket today.
Oh, I'm outraged now.
But that's not what you're paying when you go to the old Disney World. It's not $28.
It's $129, according to News Nation. I haven't been to Disney World ever. Now, I've been to Disneyland plenty of times. I remember going there as a child. I remember loading up our family truckster here in Utah, taking our own kids over the river, through the woods. A long 14-hour drive to Disneyland. I remember once losing our son momentarily in Disneyland. You know who he was sitting by when we finally found him?
Hi, everybody. It's me, Mickey Mouse.
Not Mickey. Goofy had him.
I found your child.
But he did the right thing. He sat down on a bench. We told him, if you ever get lost, just sit down where you are. Don't go wandering around. And
Hi, everybody.
Somebody will come help you.
Mickey Mouse.
Can you afford to take your family to Disneyland without putting it on a credit card, Dave?
I have a Disneyland credit card that builds up points so we can spend in the Magic Kingdom. Like, that's what we have. No, we've absolutely used a credit card to fund it, to rewards our way into Disneyland, and yeah, we've absolutely used a credit card.
So you put it on the credit card and then you pay it off one payment at a time, or do you have the fund sitting there to pay the whole credit card off at once you amass the debt?
Oh, well, we have a budget. We always go over the budget, if that's what you're asking. So, yeah, we have a budget. We put it on the credit card. We pay it off, and then we spend the next several months paying off the remainder.
Okay, so on average, according to this News Nation article, the average credit card debt from Disney trips is nearly $2,000. Does that sound about spot on?
Well, that would be a bargain. If
really?
I could,
I think it's more than that.
Holy smokes! If I could get in and out of Disneyland for $2,000, because you're not just going for one day. And if you're going to Disney World, if you're traveling to Florida, you're not just going for a one day. So you need a multiple day pass. A 2-day ticket's going to cost you somewhere between $230 and $350. But if you want 3 days, now we're talking $350, $500 for a multi-day pass. So yeah, $2,000. That's probably the above and beyond the overages. And then, you're paying a $9 churro. So yeah, it's extremely expensive. Yeah, we've always gone over budget.
There's a Lightning Lane pass for $214. Parking is $60. Mickey Mouse ears. Let's see.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Mickey Mouse.
$21. If you want matching.
The Mickey ears are $21.
Yeah, $21. I mean,
everybody, it's me, Mickey Mouse.
I'm gonna put that as my ringtone.
Mini ears are $23 because of the pink tax. I don't know if that's true. All the girls' stuff is more expensive.
Disney jerseys, matching Disney jerseys, $138. Then you got to pay for a hotel stay, flights, and to rent a car. We usually drove over to Disneyland, so we didn't have the cost of flights or a rental car. That was one of our hacks to save money. We never had a Disneyland credit card or anything like that. And hotel stays, we just stay in the cheap hotel. We used to stay in the cheap hotel, down the street, and we would try to walk over if we could, but we would stay in the less. We never stayed at the Disneyland
Resort.
Hotel. Resort, is that what it is? Yeah, resort. Never once. Here's what else is really curious about this article. Not only are 45% of American families going into debt or incurring debt from Disney vacations, despite the cost, 59% of parents consider the debt worth it, which means 40% don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, okay, so that's kind of the fun number there. So despite all the costs and the $138 matching Disney jerseys or the $21 Mickey ears, despite all of that, the majority of parents are like, yeah, it's still worth it. But that little twist on it, if 59% think it is worth it, then 41% say, no, not worth the trip.
But aren't you considered the problem parent if you don't take your child to Disneyland?
Debbie, I am that problem parent.
I never liked the pressure of that.
Oh, yeah.
Have you gone? I never liked the pressure of that because it was so expensive. And also keeping track of 3 kids at Disneyland in June.
Yeah, it's stressful.
So stressful. That's why we had a 7 or 8-year-old son who got turned around and lost for a few minutes.
Yeah, and found by Goofy.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it doesn't matter whether you think it's worth it or I think it's worth it. Because I bet it's 100% of kids think it's worth it. And ultimately, that's the only thing we care about. It doesn't really matter whether I think that banana and water is worth $9, which is what I paid at Disneyland. It doesn't matter.
Banana and water story. You've been telling that story for 7 years.
I will never get over the banana and water story.
7 years. When you came back with that story, we were first on this show together. I could not stop laughing. And I still laugh about it.
My inflation-adjusted banana and water is now worth $13.
So did you ever say no to your kiddos when they wanted to go to Disneyland?
No, we actually have planned it out. The kids loved it. It doesn't matter that I'm the Scrooge McDuck of Disneyland. Dad's fears of how to pay for this or that I'm going to be paying. None of that matters because 100% of kids absolutely think it's worth Dad's money to spend it.
So you went no matter what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did get disinvited this year. My wife wanted to go to Disneyland. She's like, you're not invited. My wife literally went with my sister-in-law. I got disinvited. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to the beach. And I was totally fine with it.
Well, I have actually pivoted from the idea of Disneyland over the years and said, nope, we're going to a national park. We're going to a national park. We're going to Glacier, kids. We're going to Glacier National Park.
Instead of Mickey ears, here's a hat of delicate arch. It's so classy. You'll love it.
So are you more like Dave? Are you on Team Dave? You go no matter what. because the kids think it's worth it. Even if you're Scrooge McDuck at Disneyland, you go no matter what. Or are you more like me, Deb? Are you on Team Deb? It's like, we're going to a national park, kids, because the debt ain't worth it for a Disney trip. 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. It's Friday, and we want to talk to you live on the air next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Hey, Steve, one of the greatest things about NPS is that you can go multiple times in the same week and find different stuff every time.
You know, here's what's annoying. When I go back to my regular grocery store, I almost scoff at the ridiculous prices I'm paying there as opposed to if I had gone to NPS to buy the same darn thing.
They can be restocking shelves as you're shopping there. In fact, they brought out a whole bunch of sodas last time my wife and I were there, and we ended up with a bunch of sodas that we weren't going to purchase and that we wouldn't have purchased if we hadn't been there right as they brought them out. So anytime you go in, you can find an amazing deal, and they've got 4 locations. So if you're in Davis County, you can check out the Layton store, which is gorgeous, at 1150 North Main in Layton. You can go in Utah County at 475 North State Street, and then the ones in Salt Lake, there's an industrial side and a retail and grocery side that are right across the street from each other at 1600 South Empire Road. Christmas is a great time to get gifts. Let NPS help you with that.
At great prices.
NPS, we like to call it the nicest place to save.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Jeff Kaplan. When you're online, that's sometimes a source of fourth-hand information. Somebody does the reporting. Another website Googles, they find it, they rewrite it, and by the time you read it, you know the old game telephone. But KSL is a source of primary information. We have reporters on the street. They're out in the field finding out the details. And the difference between online and KSL News Radio, night and day.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, nearly a quarter of Utahns struggle to pay their electricity bills, with many choosing to either decrease or shut off their electricity during the day. Second, Utah's first female state auditor is set to be sworn in on Monday. And third, the Utah Jazz have started a search for a new PA announcer as they look to replace retiring Dan Roberts, who's been with the team since 1979. Right now it's 45 degrees downtown. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
We're talking about the cost of Disneyland and how many families are finding themselves in credit card debt after they go visit the Magic Kingdom. News Nation reporting that the price of a ticket to Disneyland has gone up 3,500%. Disney World in Florida, 3,500% since the gates opened in 1971, going from $3.50 a ticket to $129 to get a ticket. I guess that's a one-day pass.
Yeah, that's a one-day pass. If you want multiple days, then you can go up to $500 for a 3-day pass. For just one person. And then there's these little add-ons that you have. So if you want the Express Super Duper Deluxe Pass, you can pay additional money to kind of jump to, you're not even jumping to the front of the line, but if you get a mildly faster pathway to the ride, you can pay for that as well.
801-575-TALK. Is Disneyland worth it? Many families say it is. Even going into credit card debt, they find the trip to Disneyland, take their kids, is totally worth it. We're taking your live calls.
Is it Team National Parks? Because Deb's like, I am so done with the Mickey ears. I've moved on to national parks. And I say, listen, I don't like it, but my kids like it. And that's really all that matters. Tammy in Draper, where do you land?
Hi, Team National Park. I find we do take our kids to like amusement parks occasionally, but I find our kids actually get along better when we're in nature and hiking and things like that than if they're like crowded waiting on lines and things like that. So we do it sometimes, but mostly stick to like outdoor stuff where we find that they're happier actually.
Oh, Tammy, you know what? That's kind of interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. When you go to Disneyland or Disney World, you spend so much time sitting in lines, just standing there. Now, a lot of that has kind of been mitigated because of phones, and there's a little less boredom in the lines. But that's a great point. When you're out at national parks, you are walking around, you are active. You're not just standing around in lines. Thanks, Tammy. That's great. Chad in Huntsville, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. We do both, actually. We did a great vacation with our kids not too long ago. And they just had such a fantastic time. But you can safely say that the mouse stole our cheese, and it's taken us about a year to try to get caught up.
Really? How much can you mind sharing, Chad, how much you ended up putting on a credit card for, was it a Disneyland trip?
I mean, we saved in advance, but just the home we rented a few blocks from the park was about $15,000. But, we have a big family. There are about 24 of us.
Okay.
But, we spent a couple of days at the beach because we couldn't afford that many people every day at the parks.
No, that's a great point, Chad. Thank you so much. Galen in Mapleton, what do you think? Are you Team National Parks or Team Disney?
I am Team both. Team Disney has been one of the best vacations we have ever taken. The kids loved it, and honestly, I'll tell you, the kids love it, but the adults love it more. I would go to Disneyland and play and then go out to the beach and then the next time maybe hit a national park. But the kids and the adults have a great time. When we stand in line, we talk. It's been one of the best times when we've had great conversations. We meet people down there. They talk to us. It's just been wonderful.
Galen, I need you to sprinkle some of that Magic Kingdom fairy dust my way because I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling so stressed, like trying to keep track of my kids, make sure nobody gets lost, long waits in lines. But we did get some good photos out of it. Some good Instagram moments out of it. Thanks for your call, Galen. Scott in Kaysville. I love it when I see somebody from Kaysville, Dave, born and raised in Kaysville, but landing on Team Deb this time. I love it.
Yeah, for the first time ever.
Well, welcome to 2025, ever. My friend.
What a betrayal, Scott.
Well, there you go.
No, to me, the magic of Disneyland is not going every year. And when you do go every year, it is like, yeah, it's the same thing over and over. And it's not worth it to me to go into that kind of debt and stuff. And so, no, it's every once in 4 years, there's the magic. But other than that, no, thank you.
You know what? That's a great point. I have more of a tolerance for national parks. I get less bored at national parks. I can go often enough. When you go to Disneyland, yeah, I mean, you go once or you go every few years. They're not making huge changes. Now, Disneyland has, absolutely, when you say Disneyland, Disney World, when it opened up in 1971, it was only $350. Well, yeah, but what they've done and how they've expanded and the rides and the attractions that are there right now, it's a completely different experience in 1971 to what it is right now.
Well, you did an inflation calculator, though, when we started talking about this a few minutes ago, and you said via the inflation calculator, ticket price should be about...
It's a $28 ticket. Yeah,
in today's world.
Yeah, in today's world, back when it first opened, it was basically a $30 ticket. Now you're talking about $130, $150 for just a single day ticket.
So Team Deb is, I kind of got tired of taking the kiddos to Disneyland. A lot of times because of the price. Get tired of packing in my own snacks, which you can do to save money. Packing in our water bottles to save. I was going to pack snacks around and pack water bottles around. I'm going to take the kids to a national park. So I'm on Team National Park for vacays. Dave said, I do it despite the fact that you're Scrooge McDuck. You still take the kids to Disneyland.
Yeah, I might complain about it, but ultimately it's really what do the kids want to do and what brings them happiness. And if they want to do Disneyland, if that's what they're excited about and they're not excited about a national park, the national park would be more for me than it would be for the kids. And that's why we end up at Disneyland.
So $130 or so a ticket, 5 people would be... I mean,
yeah, $650, $700. Yeah.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi.
Where do you land?
Hi. So I used to get an annual pass back in the early 2000s for $100. I could go with my first little boy, Disneyland. Well, I live here in Utah now, but I could get a California resident because I'm originally from California. I could get $100 in the early 2000s when my son, my firstborn, was like 3 or 4 years old. And I would go back to California so often, we would use it, and it was so worth it, $100 for an annual pass. So as it's increased, I've just become more bitter about it. Like, I can't take my family there. I have 5 kids now. My youngest is 11, and the last time he went was when he was 1 year old because I've just decided this is ridiculous. Parking has gone up, and I usually can stay with family when I go. But it's just ridiculous. It's so crowded. It's kind of a religion for some people now. Like in the old days, you could actually just walk up to a character or say hi, and now you have to wait in a 2-hour line just to take a picture with a character. Mm-hmm. Like it's not the same. I have friends, my like high school friends, and it's like their religion, and so you have to battle with all of those people at the park now just to to see a character or to get on a ride. And
well, in that season pass that you were just talking about, Cynthia, that you used to get for $100, the Imagine Pass, which is exclusive to Southern California residents, that is now $600. So that one you used to get for $100, even if you live in California, it's now $600.
Well, we have more calls on the line, but we're not going to have time to get to y'all. Thank you so much for the calls. Sherry, Pleasant View, sorry. We'll get to you next time when you call in, hopefully next week. We always appreciate your phone calls and your text messages at 57500. Straight ahead, we've got a couple of things happening in the 10 o'clock hour. First of all, we're expecting in the next few minutes the House of Representatives back in Washington, D.C. To start casting ballots, their votes for the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, as we've been talking about, might have a battle on his hands to keep the job. We'll find out how that goes for him in the 10 o'clock hour.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. A suspect in an arson case died following a high-speed chase through multiple counties. This started Thursday night in the Salt Lake City area, and police there saying it started with a 27-year-old man wanted in connection with a residential arson case from New Year's Day. The suspect fled the scene in a pickup truck. Brent Weisberg with the Salt Lake City Police Department.
The pursuit ended here in down on Redwood Road after the suspect crashed his car and the vehicle rolled. There was at that point, at the termination point, an exchange of gunfire with officers and what we believe with the suspect. The suspect has died on scene.
And authorities are saying their investigation has revealed the suspect had body armor and multiple firearms. Utah ski resorts will be busy this weekend. Deer Valley says they're sold out of single-day passes. Park City Mountain Resort had some big issues last weekend with long lift lines. And, of course, the Park City Professional Ski Patrol Association still on strike. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Biden and the First Lady will travel to New Orleans on Monday. The White House says they'll meet with officials on the ground and grieve with the families and community members impacted by the truck attack on January 1st. The president taped a special message for ESPN's coverage of the Sugar Bowl, which had been postponed today because of the attack. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average is up on the day right now, 251 points. NASDAQ is up 275 right now. And our KSL weather. Looks like we've got a warm day, and then here comes the snow. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Higher taxes, soaring inflation, record low interest rates, and the skyrocketing cost of health care. The list goes on. Retiring successfully today is a lot more complicated than ever before. Learn how you can tackle the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement today. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio. It's this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL News Radio 1027.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hi, I'm Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox. In these trying times, when inflation is out of control and our paychecks give us less and less money to support our families, the last thing any of us can afford is for the IRS to garnish wages, levy bank accounts, or seize assets. It's important now more than ever to protect your financial security.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
$66,300. Let us safeguard you. Visit endtaxworry.com. We have saved countless taxpayers like you millions of dollars, kept businesses in operation, and ensured that our clients receive the best possible outcome.
Nearly $65,000.
$12,000 is something that you can look at and say, okay, I can handle that.
I'm Jordan Wilcox. your Utah tax attorney. You work hard for your money. Let us work hard for you. Visit endtaxworry.com.
We're very grateful.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's My Style Rewards Checking. And here's Heather Kelly.
Redwood Road remains closed northbound right at 126 South in the Riverton area, although they are moving some of the barricades around, so they may be getting ready to open up a one lane possibly, but we haven't heard word of that yet. So just be aware you're still going to have to find an alternate route if you're on Redwood Road northbound trying to get to 126 South in Riverton or past it. I-15 looks great, though, through Weber and Davis counties, Salt Lake Valley, Utah County. No problems on the east and west side belt routes. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy skies with a high of 55 today, then rain and snow move in tomorrow with the valleys picking up an inch or more. Utah's northern mountains could get another foot. Right now, 47 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Our newsroom, our control room, and Dave and I right here in the studio have all eyes fixated on the monitors, what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. At any moment now, we expect the House to begin voting on a decision as to whether they want to retain House Speaker Mike Johnson or replace him. We will have live coverage and take you there live the moment the vote starts.
Speaker Johnson has joked for the better part of the last year, saying, hey, listen, if anyone else wants the job, they can have it. Anyone else that can get 218, go ahead, you can have it. Because Mike Johnson isn't necessarily the Speaker of the House because he was the first selection. He was at the top of all of the Republicans' lists. Remember, when Kevin McCarthy was voted out, we went through 3 weeks of Republicans trying to decide who they wanted to be the Speaker of the House. They initially thought, well, maybe Steve Scalise out of Louisiana. Nope. How about Jim Jordan out of Ohio? Nope. Talon Emmer from Minnesota? Nope. And then 8 other names came out. And they ultimately, after 3 weeks and endless votes, landed on Mike Johnson. And now there's at least one, Thomas Massey, who has been frustrated enough that he wants him out.
You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson.
But when we spoke to our very own Inside Sources co-host, Rusty Cannon, who is back in D.C., and says he has been asking questions about today's vote while he's back there, he believes that Speaker Johnson will win in round 1. That maybe this is a lot of drama about nothing, that he will retain the speakership. Now, remember, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, it took him 15 rounds of voting, and as you pointed out earlier, 4 days to finally win that job, and then he was ousted. And then, of course, Johnson was finally voted in to replace McCarthy.
And you'll remember when Kevin McCarthy was trying to become Speaker of the House, he had been in House leadership for a very long time. He was the number 2. He was kind of the heir apparent. But Kevin McCarthy, when he kept being rejected by the Republicans and having to go round after round after round, he started making concession after concession after concession. And one of the biggest concessions he made was that it only took a single member of Congress to say, hey, we want him out, to trigger a vote. Well, that is what is happening right now. That is still a rule in place. And Mike Johnson, there only needs to be one person that wants to trigger a vote, and that's what's going to happen. The House will have to vote for a speaker, whether to retain him or not.
And we expect that to happen any moment. The moment it does, of course, we will go there live and, dip into live coverage from CNN, Fox News, News Nation, as we usually do. Just watching the buzz right now on the floor of the House right now. It doesn't look like anybody's seated, but I understood they were
little quorum call going on right now.
Engaged in prayer, and now they're calling everybody to the House floor. Let's talk about this in the meantime while we wait for that vote to happen. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, but starting this year, 21 states across the nation have implemented minimum wage increases starting yesterday or January 1st. Some as high as $1.75 an hour. I'm going to go over what different states are requiring for minimum wage. They can do this, Dave, on their own, right?
Yeah,
the federal
right.
minimum wage has been $7.25 an hour for 15 years. So for 15 years, $7.25 an hour. Now, in several states, including California, the minimum wage has been bumped up. For fast food workers, it's gone from $4 an hour to $20 an hour, okay? That's a separate category. There's a case study in how that's gone. For workers, of course, it's beneficial. For some restaurants, they've had to close because they can't afford the $20 an hour pay. At least that's what they say. It can come down to having to pay their workers too much. Can't charge enough for a burger to keep up with the price of $20 an hour wages, the cost of the restaurant. But in other states, and I broke this down a little earlier in this show, Nebraska, it goes from $12 an hour to $13.50 an hour. California, the minimum wage, other than fast food workers, goes from $16 an hour to $16.50 an hour. And in Utah, the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. And it stays at $7.25 an hour. What do you think about that?
So I've had a lot of kids at 15, 16, 17 years old that have gone in their first job, right? That's I'm not that far removed from my kids getting their first job. Not one place could they find anyone that was offering $7.25. Every single place they went in, every single place they applied was well over $10, $11, $12. That's what they were offering. So I've never felt like the minimum wage drives the wage itself, what companies are willing to pay. Because if any company went out there and said, hey, we're going to pay $7.25 because that's the minimum wage, they would have 0 employees. So it doesn't really matter what the minimum wage is set, what it's arbitrarily set at, because ultimately it's the companies that have to decide what they're going to pay. And every company that I've seen, I mean, they have it proudly posted, starting at $17 an hour to flip burgers, right? I've seen, or to make donuts, $17 an hour.
So what do you think it is that's setting other states aside where they do feel like it's critical that they set a minimum wage? For example, above $7.25 an hour. Let me go over to Colorado. The minimum wage will be now $14.81 an hour. It was last year about 40 cents less, $14.42 an hour last year. So Colorado has set a minimum wage that's higher than the federal minimum wage. Nevada, the minimum wage, $12 an hour. It was $12 an hour last year, too, but that's still above the $7.25 an hour. And the same thing in New Mexico. Texas is $7.25 an hour, like it was last year. So they've stayed on kind of par with what Utah's chosen to do.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting conversation to be had because there are jobs out there that are probably $7.25, worth of training, right? I mean, I look at all the kids that are working at Lagoon. We're just talking about amusement parks. And what do? They push a button to start the ride. Like, that is the world's easiest job. It's why they employ 14 and 15-year-olds, is because it requires no special training. Can you imagine paying $16.50 an hour for someone to literally push a button? Right? There are some jobs that just, quite frankly, are not worth $16.50 an hour. So you're really hamstringing, I think, a lot of companies saying, okay, well, why would I pay $16.50 for someone to push a button? Oh, I will automate this.
How about having our kids negotiate? You don't have to accept the wage just because
Right.
a store posts a sign that says $10 an hour with an exclamation point and makes it sound really good.
Yeah.
You can negotiate, right? You can say, I want $11, $12 an hour. What are they going to do? Say no? Okay, then you go to the next store.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And that's a great life skill. I think you're making a great point, Debbie. I think that's a life skill that you could carry throughout, your entire career.
I think we just have a habit of just kind of accepting what we're told. Yeah. Whatever the sign says, yeah, we'll lean into that. Maybe this is a great opportunity if it's going to be $7.25 an hour. And maybe Utah businesses are posting job openings at $12 an hour, $14. You don't even need to settle for that. You can say you want $15 an hour, $16 an hour. Well, we're going to turn our kids into negotiators. Okay, speaking of negotiations, House Speaker Mike Johnson, behind the scenes, has been heavily negotiating to keep his job. And President-elect Donald Trump doubling down before this morning's vote, saying he wants the Republicans to retain Johnson as their speaker. Will they? More straight ahead.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
The Movie Show guys, Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales. We are broadcasting our show live today from NPS at the Salt Lake store. And we have got some awesome deals for listeners today. Look, we love grocery shopping. Steve, there's no question we never leave here without some grocery in our car, sometimes much grocery in our car.
Really, morally reprehensible if you leave here without buying something.
But we've got some deals today on grocery that Stephen from NPS is going to tell us. What are some of the deals people can get today?
32-ounce eggnogs, 6 for 96 cents.
Okay. We got to say that one again because you're like, wait, no, I didn't hear that right. You can get 6 32-ounce eggnogs for less than $1.
That's right.
And this is name brand delicious eggnog. We got a bunch of eggnogs. We gave them out to our neighbors as gifts. They all loved it. By the way, I am someone who says eggnog is good any time of year, personally. I will drink that anytime. You just can't get it usually.
True.
So I love that. What else we got?
I got mixed nuts, $2.99. NPS price, $4.99. Retail, $7.
Wow. So $2.99 for the 15-ounce selected mixed nuts. And then I see a protein bar that looks very familiar because this is the brand that I eat. So what's the deal, right?
25% off.
25% off on the select high-protein fitness bars. And we've got some candy. It's the movie show. So we want candy to be on sale. What do you got?
25% off select roll candies.
Awesome. Now, you've also got 25% off remedies, pain relievers, vitamins, and supplements. That's just the grocery side. I'm seeing other deals here on the retail side.
Clothing, 50% off.
Okay, now, you guys normally have it 20 to 70% off. And now you're saying that I can throw another 50. So whatever the lowest price is on the tag, I cut that in half.
Correct. That's what it is.
I'm telling you. This is why you got to come to NPS before you go other places, because you're going to save the most money here. You know what? You've got bills to pay from Christmas, so you need to make your dollar stretch. So come to NPS. There are 4 locations. You've got 2 here in Salt Lake, where we are. Come say hi to the movie show at 1600 South Empire Road, or in Layton at 1150 North Main, Orem 475 North State.
Experience the true value of clean with Zero Res, where your carpets are transformed without harsh chemicals or detergents. Zero Res's patented technology ensures your carpets stay cleaner longer, making it safe for both the kids and pets. Unlike traditional cleaners, Zero Res leaves your carpets dry in hours, not days. Plus, enjoy peace of mind with the Zero Res Gotta Love It guarantee. If you're not satisfied, Zero Res will re-clean for free within 30 days. Right now, get an amazing deal. Have 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $109, and Zero Res will clean a hallway for free when you mention KSL News Radio. But that's not all. Zero Res offers a wide range of cleaning services, from air ducts to upholstery, ensuring every corner of your home shines. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Call today and experience the Zero Res difference. Book your appointment now and let Zero Res bring cleanliness to a whole new level. Call 866-ZERO-RES or go online to ZeroRes.com to schedule your appointment today with Zero Res.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bonas. First, one man was killed at the end of a police chase with an arson suspect this morning. Second, it looks like a busy ski weekend with fresh snow expected for Wasatch Resorts. And third, President Biden planning to visit New Orleans on Monday to mourn with families after the Bourbon Street truck attack. 47 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
We're following breaking news out of Washington, D.C. right now. House Speaker Mike Johnson desperately trying to hold on to his speakership, saying yesterday to ABC that he thinks that things will go well.
People are talking through process changes they want and those kinds of things, and I'm open to that, and I think tomorrow's going to go well.
But not everybody is on board. Thomas Massey, representative out of Kentucky, Republican, saying no way.
You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson.
It's kind of strange to me what's going on here. Number one, that Mike Johnson, and this is where I'm a little confused of why there's so much frustration with him. Mike Johnson was the Speaker of the House. That's the only thing the Republicans controlled, was the House of Representatives. They didn't control the Senate, and they didn't control the White House. So the idea that he compromised with Democrats was inevitable. You had to. There was no other path forward. Now things are different. You have Republicans in charge of the House, of the Senate, and the White House. This would be a completely different speakership for Mike Johnson. So I want to know what the expectations are. What were the frustrations with Mike Johnson? Did you just expect nothing to get done? To shut down the government? To not make any compromises whatsoever? What was it that Mike Johnson, who is one of the founding members of the Freedom Caucus, what did he do that was so abhorrent to a certain handful of Republicans that they just want to kick him out?
All 4 Utah representatives saying they will vote in favor of retaining Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House, telling that to the Desert News reporting that this morning. Representative Blake Moore, who is the vice chair of the House Republican Conference, saying, quote, to the Desert News, issuing the statement, to try to force him out, or more explicitly, force someone else in, would be nothing short of dishonest. Being Speaker of the House against an opposing Senate Majority Leader and White House is the most difficult job in American politics, and Johnson has done a superb job handling every angle. That's a statement to the Desert News from Representative Blake Moore.
So Blake Moore supports him, Celeste Malloy, Mike Kennedy, Burgess Owens. Everybody is against booting him out. But again, it only takes one Republican to ask for him to to be booted. But this right here, what's going on right now, is not that, right? When a new Congress is sworn in, the first order of business is to select leadership and to select a speaker before you can do anything else. So this is not, where Matt Gaetz steps in and says, hey, I have a blood feud with Kevin McCarthy. I want this guy out. This is just normal business. This is what you do. The new Congress gets sworn in. You got to have a speaker, and that is what is going on right now.
Rusty Cannon, of course, one of our Inside Sources host, daily here on 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio, is back in D.C., and he called the show in the 9 o'clock hour. He thinks this thing will be one round and done.
I think it'll be very divided as always, and you will likely have one Republican say no, the rest vote yes, and move on. The Hill is just crawling with people. You have family, you have friends, everybody's in town. It's a really, really positive day. And so I think there's not a lot of momentum to just pulling this car right into the ditch on the first day. Hopefully it's just a smooth sailing, one round, and we're done.
One round and done. We'll have to see about that. And as Dave and I watch the monitors here in the studio, it looks as though they're gathering on the House floor right now. They have not been called to order officially. The vote has not begun, but at the moment it does, we're gonna dip in live.
Taylor Morgan joining us right now from Inside Sources. Taylor, what do you make of this? I know this is not what happened with Matt Gaetz, where he was trying to sabotage. This is just what you do. You elect a new speaker with a new Congress, and Mike Johnson. At least there's at least one that is against him, and that's Thomas Massie.
Yeah, Dave, Debbie, great to be with you. The stakes are incredibly high with this vote this morning for the Speaker of the U.S. House and the 119th Congress, not just for Speaker Mike Johnson and his leadership team, including Utah Congressman Blake Moore, but also for the entire National Republican Party and especially the new Donald Trump administration. The ability to get important legislation through the U.S. House is fundamental to whether or not this new Trump administration will sink or swim. If you remember, back in 2017, it was Matt Gaetz and the House Freedom Caucus that essentially thwarted then Donald Trump's plan to repeal Obamacare. The Donald Trump administration knows that they have a very short window, a short leash from American voters, and a clear mandate from the voters to show results, to get things done. Mike Johnson has demonstrated an ability to get some key pieces of bipartisan legislation through the House, including the continuing budget resolutions. He has been able to win over enough Democrats to get things through the House, and that is especially key, so important now with a historical razor-thin margin in the House, Dave. So this vote about Speaker Mike Johnson it doesn't affect just Mike Johnson. This is going to affect all Republicans going into this new administration.
Yeah, and Dave and I are just sitting here reviewing Trump's agenda. When he gets into office, he said he's going to do a lot of things on day one. I mean, he's got immigration reform on the docket. He's got to address the expiring 2017 tax cuts. He's talking about, energy policy, and a lot of other things that he's been talking about. So there really is no time to waste.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Debbie. And right now, as of right now, and I'm a big enough of a nerd that I'm watching this live on C-SPAN right now, just so you know. We have 432 members of the House are present, 3 essentially absent, no voting. Mike Johnson cannot afford to lose one more vote. We know, as Dave mentioned, that Rep. Thomas Massie, Republican of Kentucky, is seen as a immovable no vote. There are nearly a dozen other conservative Republicans who are still undecided. It is going to come down to those 12 Republicans. I hope Rusty Cannon is right. I agree with him that I think Republicans understand this is so important to get this vote done in one vote and then move on to the business of the 119th Congress. But look, we all know that the U.S. House has a penchant for dysfunction.
They do love their drama, and the House has leaned into drama nonstop for the past couple of years. Taylor Morgan, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll keep a close eye once this House vote happens to choose a speaker.
And you pointed out earlier, January 6th is just a few days away. They've got to certify the election on that day. And then additionally, we've talked about this, Trump taking the White House in just a couple of weeks. He's got to get going, hit the ground running with his agenda.
Yeah, and the first 100 days are the most important days of an entire presidency. So do you want it to have the oxygen in the room sucked up by the infighting amongst your own party, or do you just want to put somebody in place that's going to move the ball forward? And I think that's why you saw President Trump come out with such a strong statement in favor of Mike Johnson being the House Speaker.
Well, in our inside sources straw poll so far, Rusty Cannon saying he hopes it'll happen in round one. Taylor Morgan keeping his finger crossed, hoping it'll happen in round one. How does Inside Sources co-host Adam Gardner feel about that? He's next.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. Our top local story this hour, Salt Lake City Police Department says a man suspected of arson is dead after a car chase that went through multiple counties. It ended in a shootout with officers. Police say the man crashed his truck in Riverton just after midnight around 124th South Redwood Road. The roads in that area were closed for more than 8 hours. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Congress back in session, expected to hold a vote on the House Speaker today. And Speaker Mike Johnson saying he thinks he'll win on the first ballot, but he can only afford to lose one Republican vote. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
There's already one Republican who's come out and said he's a firm no vote. Thomas Massey, who says despite Donald Trump endorsing Johnson and doubling down on that endorsement just moments ago this morning, it's not going to move his vote. Here's what he told me.
Are you defying Donald Trump here by voting no?
No, I'm trying to help him. Look, I did.
He said back Johnson.
8 years ago, he said back Paul Ryan. I was the only one that voted against Paul Ryan, and we see how that turned out for the president. I'm trying to help him out here.
And your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average is up on the day right now, 247 points. The NASDAQ is up more than 1.3%. That's 253 points. And our KSL weather. We've got some sunny skies today, but more snow coming tomorrow. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Here it is. It's a new year, and it's time for a new you. Maybe. If you want to lose a little weight, let me tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. It's a program that I joined February of last year, and I loved it. It was great because without injections and without any surgery, I was able to lose 57 pounds in just 60 days. The results were absolutely incredible. And I had to look in the mirror and say, okay, Dave, let's get serious about what you're taking into your body and how you're living. And Salt Lake City Fat Loss every single day would send me some sort of a message, a video, a text, something to help remind me why I was doing and the reason I was following the program. And then I saw these incredible results, which kept me motivated. Also, and this is going to sound a little bit weird, I appreciated paying for the program because when I pay for something, then I felt invested in it because I wasn't going to pay for the program and then go cheat and go through McDonald's every single day because I was motivated and intent on losing weight. So if you're interested, go ahead and reach out to Salt Lake City Fat Loss this new year. Go to their website, slcfatloss.com.
All right, Steve, we're live at NPS today at 1600 South Empire Road. We've had movie show listener fans coming by and saying hi. Even our friend Jeff Whipple from Megaplex Theaters stopped by to say hi. Why? Because Jeff knows a good buy.
Oh, he's been coming.
You guys
here
are going to
for
see
years.
this amazing thing that they're going to do because he found the greatest deal here on NPS and he bought a bunch of Christmas trees. But that's one of many, many things, Stephen, that you guys sell here at NPS. In fact, all of your retail items are 20 to 70% off what you'd pay for the same exact item in the box, just like it is here, at a regular retail store. You guys have it for 20 to 70% less.
Yeah, we always have amazing deals here.
You guys check the price before you put it out, and it's priced to move because you got so much stuff. You're like, okay, look, you need to buy this so that we can get the next stuff out. And that's another thing, Steve, that makes it's such an advantage to be near an NPS, or if you work near an NPS, you can stop by more than once and find a different deal that wasn't there even earlier in the day or the day before that, Steve. And that's good stuff for the consumer.
Absolutely. Just like our clothing today is 50% off. I mean,
50% off of 20 to 7. So I saw one that with the low tag, it was originally around $100. It was marked down for the NPS price at $60, and then you can get that same thing for $30 today. $30 on a $100 original item with the tag still on it. Those are the kinds of deals. And then we've got grocery. Let's talk about some of the deals you have for movie show listeners today. You've got, this is my favorite, and you know what? It is never the wrong time for eggnog. 32-ounce eggnogs. Get this. For less than $1, you get how many?
6
32-ounce eggnogs for less than $1. Fill your cart up, go ring it up, and you'll be like, how could this only cost $5?
And you'll notice the brand is like top drawer.
Oh, yes, and it is delicious. To me, it's there's my two favorite brands. This is one of the two favorite brands. We can't say because it's such a good deal. But come in and check it out. And you got a can of another thing that I really enjoy.
Oh, nuts.
Name brand mixed nuts.
Lightly salted nuts. Regularly at MPS $4.99, today $2.99. Just for today, regularly retail $7.
So that's less than half of what you'd pay at a grocery store. Come do your grocery shopping at NPS, get everything that's on your list, and then go to the other store if you even need to, because this is where you're going to make your dollar go the farthest. 4 locations for NPS. Come say hi to the movie show at 1600 South Empire Road in Salt Lake, or check it out in Davis County in Layton at 1150 North Main, or in Orem at 475 North State.
Hey, I'm Casey Scott, and I have a podcast called Project Recovery, inspiring stories about going from rock bottom to living addiction-free. Follow us on KSLPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style Rewards Checking. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, Redwood Road is now reopened northbound in Riverton at 126 South, but only one left lane is available. They still have 2 right lanes blocked from an earlier crash, but at least traffic is getting through now. There's no big delays in the area at this time. You've got good speeds on I-15, the east and west side belt routes. We still have really dense fog down in the Provo Canyon area, especially around Deer Creek Reservoir. Can barely see more than an eighth of a mile in front of you, so that could slow you down. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy skies, high 55 today, then rain and snow moving in tomorrow morning, with valleys picking up an inch or more. Utah's northern mountains could get more than a foot out of this storm. Right now, we're at 50 or 48 degrees with partly cloudy skies. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
David Dujanovic.
So Representative Thomas Massey out of Kentucky is he's like the fly in the ointment, it seems like, back in D.C. with this vote that's going to take place any moment. Whether Republicans want to retain their House Speaker, Mike Johnson.
He's not a competent speaker. He doesn't know how to rally this conference. He doesn't know how to get bills passed. He showed us that right before Christmas with the failures on the CR.
Now, he may be the only person, or he may be that little crack in the Sphinx's nose that, falls off, right? He may just be the first one through the wall. Fox is reporting there may be somewhere between 12 and 27 defectors that would vote against Mike Johnson as Speaker.
We spoke earlier to Inside Sources co-host Rusty Cannon, who's back in Washington, D.C., says he's been poking around, kind of asking what's going to happen today.
I just don't see it becoming as big of a drama as people think, but you never know. It just takes one more to decide to do that. But my bet is that he's successful on the first round.
Okay, first round. Adam Gardner, also one of our co-hosts of Inside Sources, weekdays from 1 to 3 right here on KSL News Radio. We're taking a straw poll of Inside Sources co-hosts. Do you think it's a one-rounder for Johnson? He's got this thing in the bag?
I think he's got it in the bag, but I think it's going to take him 2 rounds to get through. I think there's enough that are going to throw a stink. And I'm hearing the breaking news pop through right now, so it sounds like the vote's going to probably happen. But I think it'll be the second ballot.
Well, let's jump over right now to listen. I see a bunch of folks clapping right now, so I think this is where we're going to hear from Speaker Mike Johnson.
Welcome, everybody. I am optimistic about our future. On November 5th, the American people gave us a great opportunity to get America back on the right track. They gave us an opportunity to get back to normal and to get back to the real issues.
This is House Conference Chair Liz McClain, who is introducing and nominating Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House.
They simply want to provide for their children and give them a prosperous future. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the opportunity today to do just that. We have an opportunity to take our country back. With Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, and President Donald J. Trump in charge, we have the opportunity to put America first again. We have an opportunity to do something about crime. We have an opportunity to do something about the border. And we have an opportunity to take care of our veterans. We and every single member in this chamber and those of you watching at home and on TV should be looking forward, knowing that America will be respected again. Our country is the last bastion of hope. If we fail, then who? This is why we are focused on the issues that the majority of Americans care about: God, family, country, faith, freedom, and traditional American values. And we should be making it easier for people to achieve the American dream. Over 14 months ago, Mike Johnson took on a daunting task. No speaker is perfect, and no one will ever be. However, achieving perfection requires incremental gains and hard decisions along the way. None of us will get exactly what we want. The fundamental collective goal of this body is to make progress for the American people in which we represent. And we have done just that under Mike's leadership. We should be celebrating and building upon his efforts, our efforts. Mike has remained the same kind and caring person as he was before he assumed this role. He's an honest broker. He shows you his true beliefs at face value. He is steadfast in his values of faith, family, and love of this country. He knows our brightest days are still ahead of us, and I do too. I am hopeful for the next Congress. I am optimistic that we will focus on those issues that people truly care about. I know Mike will be an integral part of this country's comeback. He will lead us through another successful Republican majority. As chairwoman of the Unified House Republican Conference, I can say proudly that we are ready to govern. It is my honor to present our conference's nominee for the Speaker of the People's House, the Honorable Mike Johnson from the state of Louisiana. Do I move?
The clerk now recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I've had a little bit of practice, and clearly my colleagues took notice. I rise to place a name in nomination, but first, I want to acknowledge my colleague from Michigan for her heartfelt and personal nominating speech. As someone who's given a few of these, I can say you served your conference well, Representative McClain. But, Mr. Clerk, today I rise on behalf of the governing majority of the House of Representatives. The American people have sent a strong message that they want their elected leaders working together to tackle the affordability crisis. There is only one leader in this chamber with a track record of compromise, conviction, and compassion. There is only one leader who understands the needs of the working people and has lived the American dream himself and is committed to ensuring its promise for future generations. There is only one leader who knows how to negotiate a bipartisan deal and then stick to that deal. House Democrats are united behind the most powerful legislative leader in this chamber, Hakeem Jeffries of Brooklyn.
That's Democratic Caucus Chairman Pete Aguilar, who will nominate Hakeem Jeffries for Speaker of the House from the Democrats. Although the Democrats are in the minority, everybody gets to nominate. So obviously the real drama is between Republicans and what they're going to do with current Speaker Mike Johnson.
And we'll find out how the vote falls next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Hi, Doug Wright, and many of us are taking a deep breath after this festive holiday season and looking forward to a great new year. And hopefully you were one of the lucky souls who got a gift card to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. This is the time to cash it in. Whether you're going to go skiing up in the Park City area and want a little après dining at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, or whether you're downtown Salt Lake City, maybe looking forward to a great ball game, or just simply going to a movie, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is right in the heart of downtown Salt Lake City at 275 Southwest Temple. And of course, up in the Park City area, it's Hotel Park City. The best meal. I know you've had some fine dining during the holiday season, but the best meal you have ever had awaits you at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse with your entree prepared exactly the way you want it. And at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, always save room for dessert. 2 locations, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Hotel Park City, downtown Salt Lake City.
It's a movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, and we're broadcasting live today from NPS. The nicest place to save is what we like to say that it stands for, Steve. And we've already had a KSL listener come up to us and say, you brought me in here, and you know what brought him in? It was the eggnog. 6 32-ounce eggnogs from a name brand, and a delicious name brand, I might add. 6 of them for 96 cents. Not 96 cents each. 96 cents total. Okay, so for $1, you can take home 6 32 ounces of eggnog. You can have an eggnog party. Hey, you know what? It's still technically kind of New Year's weekend, right? Have the party. And by the way, I think eggnog is good heated up. I'm just putting it out there.
Gross.
I know people say that, but you don't say that until you tried it. It's good. But here's some other things you can get. Movie show specials today at NPS. They already have great prices on grocery, but today they're marking a few things down a little bit extra in honor of the movie show being here. Steven, mixed nuts, a 15-ounce. This is like the standard can, like the tin. Maybe not tin, but, you know, everybody knows what the cans look like.
Yeah.
$2.99.
$2.99. This is $7 at your grocery store.
And how big is that? 15 ounce?
15 ounce. Now, I buy this particular brand of protein bar at my local big box store because that's the best price I'd found on it so far until today.
Now you can get them by the case or single for 25% off.
25% off. And I believe, what are they each?
99 cents.
That's an even better deal. You've got selected roll candy for 25% off because we still got Valentine's coming up next month. And it's a good time to stock up on the candies for the kids to give in the Valentine's presents. But how about this? For people who might be feeling a little sick, you're going to hear Steve in the show.
Steve.
You'll see what we're talking about. Remedies, pain relievers, vitamins, and supplements, 25% off. What are some good retail deals that we can get right now at NPS? 20 to 70% off everything to start. And then what are the extra discounts?
Bags and backpacks, 40 to 50% off.
On top of the 20 to 70% off. You can't beat the deals. Come to one of the 4 locations at NPS. Find out for yourself why this is the nicest place to save in Layton, Salt Lake, and Orem.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now it's our lowest price of the season on our top-selling i8 smart bed. Your best savings, plus free home delivery with an adjustable base. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, Redwood Road is finally opening up again after it was closed for hours because of an investigation into an overnight chase and shooting. Second, the storm moving in tomorrow could drop an inch of snow in the valleys and 18 in the mountains. Third, the Surgeon General wants to add a warning label to liquor bottles about the link between alcohol and cancer. 48 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Representative Lisa McClain just moments ago, of course, officially nominating current House Speaker Mike Johnson to continue in his role. The actual vote has not started yet, but she made, I thought, a somewhat subtle pitch for why she felt he needed another shot at this, Dave, and it had to do with calling him an honest broker, saying, you know, nobody's perfect, and the way that we get to perfection is incremental changes, kind of giving him a little bit of a pass for what's given some Republicans some heartburn back on the House floor, and that is that he's had to negotiate to get things done back in D.C.
And there is a small contingent of Republicans that are so frustrated with Speaker Johnson, they actually wanted the government to be shut down to send a message. So there's been several Republicans that say, we've got to stop making so many compromises with the Democrats. Let's just shut things down and improve our negotiating power. And Speaker Johnson has not felt like that is the most effective way forward. He's tried to negotiate as best as he could, and he may pay a price for that.
I want to bring Adam Gardner, KSL Inside Sources co-host, on the line and political insider. Well, you've been in D.C. You've worked with Senator Mitt Romney in the past, and Adam, and so you have an idea of how this goes.
Yeah, you know what? No.
Is it me that's not hearing Adam? Or are we
looks
not
like
hearing Adam? Are we all not hearing Adam?
Our connection is maybe...
Sometimes my headset gives me a little short here.
No, here it goes. The hang up and the recall. That is currently happening right now.
I'm intrigued by what he has to say about this and how he thinks it'll shake out. Rusty Cannon, Inside Sources co-host, joined us from D.C., saying he thinks, despite all the drama we've been talking about this morning, that it might go in round one in favor of Johnson, Dave.
Well, I think what will be interesting is this just going to be a warning shot where maybe you go a few rounds of Republicans that are saying, no, we want somebody else, and then ultimately they land with Mike Johnson.
I guess the vote's starting to happen right now. It'll take just a few minutes. Are we going to dip into live coverage, guys? Do we have a live feed? Okay. Adam, are you on the line with us?
I'm still on the line.
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead and the vote's just starting right now. I think it'll take, obviously, a few minutes to get through. What do you expect out of this first round?
I think he could not get the votes he needs in the first round, but I think he's going to be okay by the second round. There's nobody that can govern this conference at all. Mike Johnson, I actually had no faith in Mike Johnson when he first became Speaker. I have changed my tune quite a bit on that. I think he's doing a wonderful job with what he has to offer. Anytime you have empowered at least one member only to make changes to who the speaker is, to vacate the speakership, that's a problem, and it's really hard to govern. And I think he's done a wonderful job of keeping, herding cats, so to speak, and keeping everyone in line the best he can. When you only have 3 or 4 seats that you can spare, no matter how much you refuse to compromise or completely compromise, you're going to lose both ends of your conference. So you're going to lose the moderates one way, or you're going to lose the far right the other way. I think he's doing a wonderful job. He's what we got. President Trump is sticking by him. I stick by him as well, and I'm hoping that the conference does as well.
They can only afford to lose one vote. Matt Gaetz officially, in just a few minutes ago, decided not to take his seat, that he had resigned. So there was a little bit of a question of whether or not he would show up. But, yeah, he's officially out now. So that brings the lead for the Republicans over the Democrats in the House from 220 down to 219. They need 218 votes for this. So it's a very narrow margin. You can only lose one. Does it send a message, though, to Mike Johnson, even if it does go a couple of rounds where they say, hey, listen, we don't want you, and then eventually we'll be happy with you? Is there a message that needs to be sent to Mike Johnson that says officially, no more playing nice, no more playing ball with the Democrats, that we're going to ramrod some stuff through as Republicans?
You know what? That's a really good point, but I don't know what message they could possibly send any further than what they've sent. They're very upset with him. We know every time we turn on Fox News or CNN, someone is complaining about his leadership. The message is already there. He knows that there's only one vote that needs to happen to vacate the chair. So what message do you have to send? To a certain point, it just says we'd rather have Democrats governing because we can't trust ourselves to do the job. That's the message I think you send if you keep playing games with the speakership like they're doing.
All 4 Utah representatives, Malloy, Owens, Kennedy, the newest representative, as well as Blake Moore, saying they're standing behind the speaker. Adam, not surprised by that, though.
That's actually great to hear. I was wondering how Mike Kennedy was going to do when he came in. He's not beholden, to anyone. He hasn't been there. He wasn't part of those fights, and I think it's really great to hear that he's sticking with Speaker Johnson. I think it shows responsibility, and it shows that they're willing to govern. Good for them.
Adam, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking currently There's just a few dozen votes that have been cast so far. Johnson has 22. Hakeem Jeffries has 14. There's no other that has been voted for and no present. So right now, everything looking good for Mike Johnson. But again, still, he's got to hit 218 votes. It looks like 218 votes to retain the speakership.
Yeah, 218, of course, a long way off. This is slow going, a little bit like watching molasses roll uphill when it comes to this vote, because there are more than 400 members of Congress that will be casting their votes. Right now it stands, according to Fox News, Johnson with 24, Jeffries at 17. He needs, as you said, Dave, and Adam pointed out, 218 votes to win. May go a couple of rounds. We've been told from our newsroom that they're going to continue to keep a close eye with the support of not only our producers but our reporters on this vote. And the moment we know the outcome, you'll know the outcome.
Yeah, the only votes that we're really looking at right now is either other or present. That would be someone breaking away from Johnson. So that's what we'll keep an eye on.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. An arson suspect died after a high-speed chase that went through 3 different counties overnight.
Police say this man was wanted in connection with an arson that took place in Salt Lake City on New Year's Day. Officers saw the man in Orem and tried to pull him over, but they say he fled, leading them on a chase that lasted somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour.
This individual posed an immediate threat to public safety. Throughout the pursuit, law enforcement did use spike strips to successfully knock out his tires, to deflate those tires, but the suspect continued to drive.
Brent Weisberg with the Salt Lake City Police Department says as the man was fleeing, he was shooting at officers, and after the crash, there was an exchange of gunfire. Reporting from Riverton, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News, as you've heard Dave and Debbie discussing, the vote is underway in the U.S. House of Representatives right now for the Speaker's job, but it's expected to take some time before we know whether Mike Johnson will be able to hang on to that position. Investigators are going through Matthew Livelsberger's electronic devices, hoping to find out why he drove from Colorado Springs to Las Vegas in a rented Cybertruck, shot himself in the head outside of the Trump Hotel before the Cybertruck exploded. They say it doesn't appear he was motivated by any terror group or that it was linked to the attack in New Orleans. Sources say his wife told police there'd been a fight over allegations of cheating in their marriage. Your money at this moment, the Dow